Everyone, how are we doing? How has your day been in isolation? How have you been? It's good to see people joining in already. I can see Rock Chick. I can see our regulars so far. I see Lady Cinti. I see Olushola, Tosin, exceptional realtor. I like that. Good evening, Tosin. Larry Bass, SAL Nation. I see you. Verel's Pop, soybeans. That's nice. I see you. Good evening, Rock Chick baby. I see you. Larry. Okay, so I've already hailed Larry Bass. Yes. Uh, Tosin said, I've already been on your page checking and checking. Even had to check the date again. Yes, so sorry, so sorry. There was a bit of a delay on my end actually, so I must take responsibility for that. The delay was slightly on my end, so I must take responsibility for that. But we're here. It was just a bit of technical difficulty, but we sorted it out, and we are here right now. So it's good to see you all. Sorry about yesterday. We couldn't do this yesterday. We had to take a break. We had to take a break yesterday, but today we are here again, and today promises to be awesome by God's grace. Now, on Tuesday, woo, oh my, Tuesday was smoking. Tuesday was on fire. Tuesday was lit. Literally, it was. If you missed Tuesday, oh my God. I mean, of all the sessions we try to make each session as short as possible. But that Tuesday session, we had to just do 2 straight hours, non-stop. 2 straight hours. It was awesome. And DDK is a blessed woman of God. Yes, Monife signature says fire. Yes, so it was fire. DDK is a blessed woman of God. I must confess, it's a relationship I'm just beginning to build, and for us to be able to pull that off, I know because our schedule it can be quite busy. In fact, all the speakers that we brought here, their schedules are quite busy, but due to relationship and the grace of God, we're able to get them to be able to agree to be here. And then today is another thing entirely. I know a lot of you already know who's speaking, but in case you do not know who's speaking, let me just say this is the Shift Conference. In case you're tuning in for the first time, this is the Shift Conference. It's a conference we started last week, and we're doing it every day except yesterday was the only day we didn't do it, and we have 2 days more, today and tomorrow. Now, we brought in a plethora of speakers that have been able to do justice to different areas. What is the shift about? The shift is simply talking about the fact that this pandemonium, this chaos, or the panic, or the coronavirus pandemic, yes, that we are going through is only a cradle to birth a new era, a new revolution, a new level for the world. And if you're not realizing that, if you're not aware of that, some people have been saying they've been checking my timeline. Now, if you're not aware of that there's a shift, you are jonesing. Literally, you are way behind. But what this conference is about is to help people find clarity of where they ought to be and position themselves for where they ought to be next after in the new world era, in the shift in the post-COVID world. So this COVID is to launch us into a new world. So as much as we must stay safe, we must stay healthy, we must be careful within these times. At the same time, we should not lose sight of what is coming after this whole chaos or this whole challenges that we're dealing with right now. We should be using this time to prepare ourselves, to gain clarity and reposition and position ourselves to be able to stand as a leader in different fields that we will be stepping into or we're already in after this whole time, after this whole challenge, after this whole lockdown, whatever it is you want to call it. So guys, if you've missed all the other episodes, you have missed. So what's going to happen is that we will have you're going to be able to have access to all the videos, but we'll give you the process of how it will be done by tomorrow. how you can get access to all the videos of the what's it called, the Shift conference that we've done. We've had so far we've had 10 amazing speakers. Yes, so we had 9 amazing speakers. Is it 9 or 10? So today and tomorrow are the remaining 2 speakers, and then we will take off. So who are we having today? Just in case you did not know, we are having a man called, sorry, I just call it, he's a man, but he's also an enigma. He is Olakunle, Kenneth Olakunle. I have a brief, how will I put it? I have a brief profile on him here. It says polymath, iconoclast, catalytic thought leader, and transdisciplinary keynote speaker. Those words are twisting my tongue. Futurist, thought-led global expression, influence and relevance consultant and strategist, culture shaper, philanthropist, social impact investor, mentor, and spiritual guide. Those are the words to describe Olakunle. The Ruckus, as he is called by industry colleagues and stakeholders, work globally, helping leaders and high-impact individuals, culture shapers, deep thinkers, risk takers, change makers, decision makers, and news makers reach deeper dimension of meaning and purpose, discern and embrace their due season for newness, architect high levels of expression, global influence, and continued relevance for themselves personally and the ideas and projects they hold dear. Simply put, Olakunle helps action figures make the move from point A to point B globally. Yes, so that is the enigma, and that's just the beginning. Trust me, we can't go straight into it, but he's here already. Let's bring him on board. Trust me, just to be here. He's a mentor of mine. He is a leader of leaders,
Hello.
A mentor of mentors, a coach of coaches, a pastor of pastors. He's none other than Olakunle. But sir, your screen is bent. Oh. You might want to help us the other way, and then tilt your screen and make it what's the word?
Okay,
now?
Straight up.
Portrait. Hold your phone on the portrait, not landscape.
Okay. I need to find a way to hold it because I'm not holding it. There's a device holding it, and the device is rectangle.
You know what came to my mind?
Yeah.
Let's leave it like that.
I mean,
what came to my mind now?
that's COVID.
Let's leave it like that. This is just the way. This is what you do to people's mind after you have sessions with you. Their mind moves the other way. They just see the other way. So maybe it's a sign to show that this is how you disrupt things. You just disrupt.
I mean, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure. So,
awesome.
Watching him like this with our heads bent like this. So
I'm so sorry.
Listening to PK, most of the times your thoughts have to go like this again for you to understand where you get from. So, PK, it's a joy. It's a joy. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a privilege to have you, sir. It's a privilege.
Thank you.
I can see a lot of my friends, a lot of people tuning in already. I mean, they are excited. We are
awesome.
Happy to have you share with us today. It is awesome. It is an awesome experience to always sit down with you, sir. It's an awesome
I'm excited
to sit down with you, sir.
Thank you for the honor.
Excited.
Thank you for the honor. Thank you for the honor, my brother. Thank you so much. I did appreciate it. Thank you for the honor.
I know you've had a lot you've been doing. There's a lot on your plate at the moment. But how was your day today, sir?
Beautiful. I mean, awesome. I didn't sleep until like 3 a.m. A lot of strategy sessions, a lot of, we are in the best of times. New thinking, new disruptions. People are waking up to the new responsibilities, and it's amazing. So it wasn't too long. I got up, I had to get on a strategy session. The delay, first of all, we should apologize to everybody for my delay in coming up. It was because of a clash in my itinerary. my team didn't manage it well, and we didn't get the timing right. I'm also supposed to be in a strategy session right now, and I had to terminate that because honestly, I find your work very inspiring, and
Thank you, sir.
it's a privilege and an honor to be in it and to
Yes,
be part of your crew.
thank you, sir.
So I celebrate you, I celebrate your work, and I really do thank you for the gift of access to
Thank
be
you, sir.
able to speak to your platform and support the work that is going on there. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir. I'm also humble of you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So let's get straight into it because I know that uh, 2 hours is not enough for you, but
I
let's
tell you,
just get straight into it. Now, our
I
topic
tell
is
you.
delivering business, career, and personal excellence in a digital and globalized world. Now,
Yeah,
I remember that having conversations with you years back, and the fact that how you had spurred my heart to begin to see that we're stepping into a global world. Now, like the
yeah,
futurist that you are, you're already speaking about the fact that we are going to step into globalization. And the fact
yeah,
that the digitalization will become the basis of everything. I remember how you talked about the fact that you must see yourself as a technological company that offers certain services. And then that
yeah.
has been um, the seed, sort of, that has been able to create a germination that has led to this point where we are now, that we're having the Shift Conference. Now, the Shift Conference, howbeit, might have been a response to the challenge of the day. However, it was not just any kind of response. It was a response
Yeah,
that was burning from the heart. It was based on
yeah,
what was already the foundations that were already built, that
great,
we are now building this monument on.
great.
So, sir, so I know that you from your line of work, without wanting to call you a seer, I know that you've seen this ahead, and the understanding that we have is that this particular challenge that we're going through in the world is just more like a womb that is to birth us or to force us into, I would rather use the word force, to force us into a new era. That because the new era, we've been at the precipice of the new era for a while, but because of human beings and the lack of human beings struggle with change, you always need something to force them out of their comfort zone to move them into the next level.
I
So,
hear you.
and and that's the way I see this whole COVID pandemic. It's
You are
to
seeing
force
right.
us because here we are right now. We're doing everything digital. Everywhere you go, you will see that there is need for social distancing, and social distancing will be the norm for a while. And when
Yeah,
that is the norm, there will be need to create technological solutions that can
yeah,
help us able to still be performing and be productive despite
yeah.
the social distance.
I
So,
hear you.
so this will launch us fully into the technological era. So, sir, the question I want to just use to launch you and let you just go is
Yes.
this: that how do we thrive in this era as a business person, as a career person, as an individual? How do you be ahead? Because the theme of this whole conference, the shift, is gaining clarity and positioning in the new world era. So what we want to
Great.
achieve is that so we have a clarity about who we are, what we're supposed to be, and what we're supposed to be doing in the post-COVID world.
Yeah,
So
I thank you for that. So, because of the injury of time, we don't have all the luxury to on this. I'm sure we're going to arrange something later to even give more clarity on what we have to do.
yes.
But there are some basic things that are critical. And the shifts begin with, first of all, understanding what is going on, right? What is happening is not what is going on. What is happening is what everybody sees, and that is consequential. There is the impact of a particular experience. That is what we describe as what is happening. And that is where everybody camps around. And that is what they talk about, the impact of what is happening. but there's something going on that the majority only feel the impact. That which is going on is what we need to understand. Otherwise, we are going to be reactive as opposed to being responsive. And we know the difference of that. Reaction is what happens when you are giving medication, and because we use those words interchangeably, reaction, response, reactions, response. But reaction is negative, pretty much. It's a late energy. Part of what I say every time is that if you are ready, you are late. You know, yes. you can't afford to be ready. You know, you want to be ahead of ready, because ready is a majority energy. It's generic. It's commonplace. That's where everybody is, right? So what you want is to be responsive, and being responsive transcends the limits of being reactive. When you go to the hospital and you are given a medication, you know, and you are throwing up and you are not eating despite the medication, they say you are reacting to treatment because it's negative. When you take the medication and your temperature is going down and you are eating well and you are getting stronger, they say you are responding to treatment. Yeah. So they are not the same words. They are not supposed to be used interchangeably. One is actually not progressive. At best, it identifies with what is happening and misses what is going on. So let me real quick, try and articulate what is going on. What is going on is not new. It's not new. And if it hits you as new, that is the first indicator that you are behind the clock of time. So COVID has slowed the world down so that you can catch up. Because a lot of people were already out of the loop, but they did not know. God, in His mercy, did not create COVID, but is using COVID to bring some of His people back into the loop, because they were already so analog, they were out of the loop. And it's so important that we understand that critical difference. Okay? Now, so every time you hear new, you want to greet it with caution. You want to ask yourself where you are in that new. Because new is old happening to new people. Or old happening to late people. People who are late. People who arrive late, come to terms with engagement late, or who are completely out of engagement, are the people that receive new as newness. New is not newness, just like zero is not nothing. New is not newness. New is old happening to new people. The new people are not revolutionaries or custodians of truth. New people are late people. New people are those who are not on the cutting edge of what is going on. And so if you look at Kodak, for example, Kodak vanished because something came to Kodak in 1978 or thereabout, digital films. Kodak was actually the first organization that the idea was presented to buy it. Yeah. But they were so arrogant because they were too loyal to what was working for them. They forgot that it's going to change. And that is what we should learn in this particular concept, because loyalty is a perpetual instrument, but the methods of engaging it must be changing in response to changing times and changing people. You cannot love an idea so much that you forget that it has expiry date. You know, everything on earth is built with three critical dimensions. Everything on earth, person or thing, system or idea, structure or anything, everything is in a state of usefulness, a season of usefulness. It's in a phase of development, right? And so no matter what you have, at best, is designed to reign for a while. And at some point, you are either going to disrupt it by yourself, or life will disrupt it for you If you disrupt it by yourself, you'll be a stakeholder in the new level of it. If you allow life to make it happen for you, you are going to be a victim, a casualty, or a slave in that next level of it. That is why Kodak has gone. That is why a lot of organizations have gone. That is what happened to Yahoo. Yahoo was a disruptor, but it was disrupted by itself. You know, Nokia was disrupted telco, but Nokia itself was disrupted and bought up the rack. You see, the idea is you cannot be so loyal to something and forget it's going to change. In the Bible as well, the Jews, the Pharisees and the Sadducees were so loyal to the law, they were blinded by their loyalty, they missed the Messiah. Because there is a sense in which you must have rebellion. There is a rebellion that is necessary. I call it creative rebellion, which is the ability of the human spirit to be able to work itself to a point where it can spot the expiry of a tangible commodity, right? And not wait for pain or discomfort to remind it that change is necessary. So that is the first concept we need to understand. What is happening to us now is not supposed to be new. What is making it new is because we are all late, right? There are organizations in Silicon Valley that has picked this years ago. Now, there are some of us that have been talking about this technological revolution for nothing less than 10 years, right? I remember in 2006, when I held the microphone for the first time somewhere, when I said universities online, universities in the future, it's not going to be offline or offline. It's going to be online. It's going to be, there's not going to be offline university or online. There's just going to be university and it's going to be online, right? We were saying that computers are not going to be desktops. A computer used to be a house. We used to enter into a house and go upstairs into a computer. We used to climb into a computer. We used to walk inside the computer when it was the mainframe behemoth, right? But it became a kiosk, right? It became a box on our table called desktop. It became a laptop, palm top. The next computers are not tops. They're going to be, the air will be our monitor. There will be chips in our eyes that will help us to browse at the speed of thought. And the air in front of us will be the screen. You'll be seeing everything you are browsing. I mean, those things are coming. It was heartbreaking to hear people of thought condemning 5G, you know, calling it antichrist and all of that. We need 5G like yesterday, you know. The fact of 5G in itself is a proof, and the contention that came against it shows how many people were in the past already. It showed how many people were out of the loop. Without 5G, the gospel cannot be preached. The end time gospel of Jesus Christ cannot be communicated on 4G. The energy of millennials and Generation Z comes at a level of restlessness that 4G cannot minister to it. So Generation Z are dealing with empirical content. They are dealing with so much restlessness. They are dealing with experiences. They have made preference and attention the critical gods of the future. And for us to cope with the desires, with the expectation, with the consumption of Generation Z and millennials, only 5G can do that. It means that the gospel that will not embrace 5G actually has a lifespan in itself. So I say that to say that whether we like it or not, this newness that we are calling newness is old happening to new people. Now, I must be honest to say, I didn't see COVID coming, you know, even as a futurist, I didn't see COVID coming, but I don't need to. I don't need to see COVID coming, because COVID is just like, COVID is like a vehicle that if a vehicle is bringing the scientist that will perform surgery on you, you don't celebrate the car bringing them and forget the scientist with the skills of the surgery. So COVID is like the car. It's the shell of what is going on. It's not what is going on. It's the awakening tool that is forcing all of us into the prevailing energy of the future. Whether we like it or not, this is the way to go. Some people are still waiting for post-COVID to begin. They think that when they release the lockdown, then all of us are now going to come out. You know, we're now going to, post-COVID will now begin. Post-COVID began about 3 or 4 weeks ago. That we are in post-COVID already. We are not going into post-COVID. We are already inside it. This is post-COVID. Okay? Now, post-COVID began the day China opened its borders to the world. The day China opened its borders to the world, we entered post-COVID. It's like Nigeria can be in New Year on January 1st, and America may not be in New Year yet.
Yes.
That does not cancel the fact that we are in the New Year already.
Yeah.
Right. If America dares to pretend that we are not in the New Year, it's going to be out of the loop. The fact that Nigeria is in the New Year tells you the world's already in the New Year. Now, when a prostitute says, I am poor, I'm a prostitute because I am poor. When somebody says, I did not go to school because I am poor, then it means that everybody poor should not go to school, for what that person said to be true. It means everybody poor must be a prostitute, for what that person said to be true. Once you have one person saying who is rich or who is not a prostitute and yet was poor, then what that person said is fallacy. In the same way, once China says it is out of lockdown, the whole world automatically is out of lockdown.
Yeah.
The chief executive of Adidas said their factory in China is running at 100% capacity right now. The CEO of Adidas said their factory in China is running at 100% capacity.
Wow.
That tells you that we are out. So we are not, this conversation we are having is not about what is ahead. It's not about what is ahead. It's about what is going on now and what we are going to do now. As we move into the next 2-3 years, we are going to speak less and less of developing, underdeveloped, or developed countries. We are going to speak more and more of smarter, and smartest countries. And that's not my view. That's not my view. That's just the fact out there, right? And you want to ask yourself, where is Africa in all of this? Because where are third world countries are in all of this? You know, you mentioned the fact of globalization. Actually, even globalization itself has run its course. I'm trying to bring all of this to a close, but real quick. Globalization itself has run its course. Globalization cannot manage the future because it's an unfair concept. Unfair in the sense that countries who have transcended the limits of visa can move their goods and services across the world and their ideas across the world. Countries who are bound by the reality of a visa, like Nigeria or Ghana or Gabon or Mombasa or Rwanda, those countries cannot move ideas or move goods and services to the world at the ease and the seamlessness of how the French can move it, or the British can move it, or the Americans can move it, because of the limits of visa. The moment a third party is going to have to approve the speed of your conception, you are already out of the loop. You are a slave, pretty much. You have to transcend that limit for you to come on an equal board. What we are seeing, the reason why God allowed technology as a critical instrument for this time, is not just because we need to minister to the concerns of different individual blocks or systems of government. Essentially, it brings a level playing field. Okay, it is opportunity for underdogs to rise. You know, this is the best time for Africa. This is the best time for effectual defined underdogs. This is a chance for no-name people, no-name boys and girls, no-name nations, no-name organizations to rise to the plate and begin to use their greatest asset, which is their mind, And there is no rank in the grave, you know, there's no seniority in the grave. So that's the reality of where we are now. There's no seniority where we are now. Anybody, anything can vanish now. Anything can vanish. And guess what? Anything can come on the horizon. I challenge people with mind everywhere because your time has come. This is a time where on one spot, you can compel the whole world to assemble their purchasing power and send it to your location. That transcends the limits of visa. In my work, borderlessness. Now listen to this, coach. In the next, between now and the next 5 years, tops 10, 2 words are going to go viral. The first one is borderlessness. That's the next level. That's the upgrade of globalization. The upgrade of globalization is borderlessness. People should please go and abandon their fear and their anxiety about COVID. They should begin to wear their sense of mission and their sense of responsibility. The world has just been tilted. A disequilibrium has been created. An equilibrium has been created for people everywhere, as long as they have the audacity and the clarity to initiate in this season to come on the same plate with hitherto powers that have remained, you know, on the horizon. And borderlessness is the path to that. 2 years ago, I did a 4 CD pack, a 4-hour articulation of the concept of borderlessness. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. You could go check it out. You could order for it. If you DM me or do something, they'll send it to you. 4 hour detailing the concept of borderlessness and how the world is ready. So it means as of 2 years ago, the world has been ready for where everybody is now. What people should never forget is that there are some people whose entire destiny has prepared them for this time. You know, they've entered this realm years ago, right? I was speaking to a young man who said, it's our time. We are the ones that have been online before now, you know, and so we are the masters of the craft. I said, it's a big mistake. That's a big and dangerous way to think. Because until now, you were online, a lot of superior, more talented thought leaders were distracted by their offline traffic.
Yes, sir.
Now, everybody has come online now.
Yes, sir.
So, even you that have been online before, you are an endangered species now.
The game has
because
changed,
the options, the platform of options is now broader and wider. The consumers online are now operating on a wider spectrum. They now have critical options to embrace. And so even you that have been online before, you got to raise your game and come to a higher place. Now, I'm saying that to say ISIS, very evil organization. There's nothing to be proud of about them. Thank God for their defeat, even though they are going to resurrect, you know, Al-Qaeda morphed into ISIS. ISIS will morph into something else. The defeat of terror is still about 15 years ahead of us. So something is going to rise again sometime in the next couple of years. But watch this. My point is, ISIS applied borderlessness very well. And so let me use them as a case study. It's sad that they are one of the earliest embracing constituency of the concept of borderlessness. ISIS did not have business cards. They didn't have blogs. Okay? ISIS did not have blogs. ISIS could not go. They didn't have a website. They were not doing podcasts. They didn't have business development units, right? They didn't have salespeople. They didn't have all of that around. All that ISIS had, essentially, was the power of tech to operate from one spot. But you know what they were doing? From one spot, they were recruiting doctors, elites from all over the world, abandoning their high society life and their mass income and migrating to ISIS city, to Syria. And they were going to terminate their existence. People with engagement in their lives, medical doctors, accountants, were terminating their existence in different suicide moves with a commitment to an ideology. Two things that will be required to win in a borderless world. The first one is Your content cannot just minister to the head anymore. Your content cannot minister to the emotions anymore. I hear a lot of thought leaders, talking about emotions, emotional selling. I mean, not emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a perpetual skill. We are going to need that forever. But emotional selling does not have a future. Sales must now be ideological. Must be ideological. If you look at the world now, we have been moving stronger and stronger into ideology. Philosophy has never changed the world. I laugh when people talk about people like Socrates. Socrates committed suicide. I mean, the biggest word, the biggest statement credited to Socrates was know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. And people popularized that. But I guess he didn't know himself enough, because if he knew what he was saying, he won't end up in suicide. So it's not a reference point. It's actually a point of study when we want to understand the crisis of identity. Socrates is a perfect case study, because he didn't understand himself. Socrates lived before Christ. A lot of people don't know that. He didn't have the privilege of religion to be speaking at the level he was speaking. But that is the difference between philosophy and ideology. Philosophy is not truth, it's association with truth. It's never the truth. So philosophy has never changed the world. The only thing that has changed the world unto good or unto evil is ideology. Democracy, ideology. Capitalism, ideology. Islam, ideology. Christianity, ideology. Communism, ideology. Nazism, ideology. Terrorism, ideology. Buddhism, ideology. Only ideology has changed the world, either unto good or unto evil. Now, what we are saying is, as there is a melting of thoughts and there is a convergence of human activity on one spot, there's going to be a higher and higher demand on human options, human preferences, but most importantly, human consciousness. And that is why only ideology can. And so sales must be ideological. Anything you want to do must be ideological. Now, so when you understand that if you put ideology into what you are doing and then you add technology to it, what does that mean? The second word, first of all, I define borderlessness as the ability of the human head to construct its message and its story into a narrative and an ideological construct. 10 years ago, if you start a statement with, so, if you just get the mic now and you say, so, yesterday, or so, thank you for inviting me, people will look at you like, what kind of grammar is that? You can't start a statement with so 10 years ago, right? Fast track to today. They can give you the mic now, and the first thing you will say is so, and everybody will accept it. You know why? Because the human life of the 2000s is always telling a story. Our subconscious have accepted storytelling and narratives as part of our reality. And so you can start the conversation from anywhere. You can say then and start the conversation. You can say furthermore, you can start. It's okay, because the life of conversation, the life of the human being today is a story. So at every point in time, you are in a story, you are part of a story, and you are telling a story. Now, the moment you understand that, then you have to fuse your narrative, your advertisement to something of such intrinsic value that is almost timeless, that is higher than the smallness of just entertainment, or even to talk about music going forward, you have to present it as a force of some sort. As that is why black is selling. The reason black is selling today and Africa is selling is because of the Pan-African ideological message that surrounds black, slave trade, colonialism. There is a reparative thought and thought line that support black. So that is why ideology, that's why black is selling, Africa is selling now. Anything with an ideological narrative is going to sell today. Whatever is not going to rise to that level of conversation actually cannot unlock attention. The most critical resource in the world today is not oil, it's not gold, it's attention. Attention is the number one resource in the world today. Now, if I was in your church 10 years ago, if I was in your church 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, even in December, even in January, if I was in your church in January, and I don't like what you are saying, I don't like what is going on, and the church I really want to go is on the island, I can't get angry and just leave and be going to the island. I mean, if I'm on the mainland, for example, if the church I love is in New York and I'm in Dallas, I have to endure whatever experience I get in Dallas, because I just don't get angry and get into a flight to go and attend service in New York. In a borderless world, I don't need to. Once I don't like what is going on, it's a button away from me. I press a button and I'm in New York. From Lagos, I can press a button and I am in Houston listening to some preacher. And I am in Florida listening to another speaker. The options have been broadened now. There's so much option for the consumption of the human spirit. And so there's an elevation from philosophy to ideology. Now, once you understand that, the new God you must now give room to. When I say God, I mean small g. The new weapon you must now give room to. As you give room to attention, give room to preference. Because there's customer satisfaction is gone. Customer preference is going to gain attention. You watch it, note it. Customer preference. What does that mean? You see this thing, we are all online now. It was preference that hindered us from coming online all these years. That idea of getting so loyal to something and forget that it's going to change. So people just prefer, people don't mind. They understand they can do takeaway from a restaurant, what we call takeout in the United States. They can do takeouts or they can do takeaway, right? But for some reason, they just prefer to go to the restaurant physically. It's just their preference. It's what they are used to. Now, what has happened is everybody has been forced to go online now. Everybody has been forced. So if you want to eat anything in the last 1 month, they say you need 30 days to form a habit. So if anything you want to do in the last 30 days, you have been eating out, calling out, at the end of lockdown, you have formed new habits that even you don't know yet. Now, the guy wants to sell something to you. Better rent a space in your head to be able to know your new habits that you have formed. Because even you will think you have not formed new habits. You will just realize that there's lockdown and all of a sudden you don't want to go anywhere. HR managers are going to begin to make a case for superior output. They are going to measure it. That when we were in lockdown, we made more money, we saved more time, we saved more resources. The flights you used to take for your company with ESTA code to travel to Saudi Arabia for business, they will say, why don't you have a video conference now? We realized that there was no difference. You had the same meeting before, you sealed it. Whether we like it or not, the game has changed. So preference is what we have to manage now. You now have to defeat or arrest or govern the preferences of people. Now that's not something obvious, because preference is more intangible than satisfaction. Satisfaction is dependent on you, what you create and the energy it exudes, the experience you create and the energy it exudes. Preference is more intangible because it only exists in the head and the heart of the consumer. You are the one now. When we're measuring satisfaction, we wait for the customer to behave before we know whether he's satisfied or not. In the world of preference, you can't wait for the customer to behave or you are out of the system. You have to go into his head to go and know what he prefers, so that you can culture your own ideas and products to that level. So that is the reality. Now, let me wrap it up there for borderlessness and go to technocracy. The new word, democracy is going to lose meaning. Write it down. It's going to happen. See, these are not things K.Soriyan is talking about. These are things that has come, is over 10 years old on the human race. Okay? Technocracy is the new word. It's going to transcend democracy. And in a technocracy, right, all ideas must be driven by tech, and all idea owners must be technologists. I'll say it again. In a technocracy, all ideas must be driven by tech, And all idea owners or idea shepherds or idea managers or idea drivers must be technologists. Please, not technocrats. Please, not technocrats. Technologists, right? MBA degrees are going to take backstage. They will still be important, but they will not be what MBA used to be for executives is what technology will be for executives. So if you like, go and acquire the biggest degrees in the world without a critical technological foundation deep in your thinking, right? In your articulations, your ability to see technologically, to hear technologically, to interpret technologically, you have no space in the future. So part of whether it's a government or a business or a family or it's a individual or it's an individual, whatever, whoever, you have to be a technologist, and you have to drive your whatever you are doing with tech. I've said that before, Coach. You've heard me say that many times. Yes. That in the future, whether you like it or not, you know, somebody told me that somebody sent a message yesterday. I was saying that those things were things that some other people in America said. All humility. I've been saying before, and I'm not trying to give myself any credit, but I've been saying these things for about 10 years. About 10 years. This is not what I began to say 2 years ago, you know. But essentially, when an African thought leader is saying something that an American thought leader is also saying, we just assume the African copied it. You know, we just assume it. You know, it's sad, but that's the reality. Anyway, the thinking I'm pushing is this. If you are a hospital, let's use a hospital as a case study. If you are a hospital, for example, I'm not asking you to go on social media, have a website, all of that. That is backdoor technology. That is using technology to support your offline work. That's not being tech driven. That's different, right? Technology has become front door now, not back door. Technology is not what is supporting your offline work. Your offline work is supporting your online work. Online is the line now. Online is the real line, right? Offline is supporting online. Online is your primary constituency. Otherwise, you are going to become a victim or a casualty of this reality. So part of that means that if you are a hospital, you are not a hospital using technology to treat people. That was pre-COVID. In pre-COVID, you are a hospital using technology to treat people. In post-COVID, which is now, you are a tech organization that is treating people. You are first a tech organization that is treating people. If you are a church, you are not an organization that is using tech to reach people. No. If you are a church, you are a tech organization that is reaching people. Tech is your primary understanding. The language, you see, we had English language, Latin. We had the language of the future, the language of post-COVID is tech. Anything you cannot say technologically, you cannot express technologically, we die a natural death. Online is the new front door. It's no longer back door. Online is what we are to do what we do. It's not what we do to be who we are. Online is what we are to do what we do. That is the big difference. I think I have to end there. I think I should give you back the stage now, Coach.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm giving it to you completely. Please, I take the stage.
You know, so this is the reality that we have to deal with today. And I'm going to leave the audience with some simple questions. Today, I don't know what you do. I don't know what your focus is. I don't know what exactly your industry is or what field you are playing in. But whatever you do, ask yourself these 5 questions. 5 questions. The first question is, what is too much around me right now? What is too much? What is too much? Or who is too much? Or where is too much? You know, is there a place I go that I should reduce my going there? Are there things I do that I'm doing too much of? Are there people in my life that I have too much of them? You know, are there expenses I'm maintaining that I have too much of? You know, what is too much? You know, am I overstaffed? What is too much? You know, you need to audit. You need to take that question around everything in your life right now. What is too much? What is too much? You know, what are you giving attention to too much? Who are you giving attention to too much? I told somebody, you need to change who you are listening to now. And I say that with all humility. I don't mean that to discredit anyone. But voices are generational. And I say that with due respect. Voices are generational. You can outlive your voice. You can outgrow your voice. And you may not have a voice in the nest. Some people have run their course. They are done. Their voice is done. They are supposed to do succession planning now, not speaking to the world. When those people speak to the world, they speak erroneously because their grace to address has been withdrawn. They are supposed to go into their wardrobe, anoint new soldiers, anoint new voices, and begin to structure a succession plan. Their focus now should be legacy. When people miss that and they insist on being a voice, when the platform has been withdrawn, they miss their time. They are forcing their own will on the new generation. So what's that going to be? That's going to be like bringing paper films in a digital world. That's just another determined Kodak, you know, who's just going to fade. You know, there's confident ignorance. When you know nothing but you are not aware. So you carry your ignorance with recklessness and with unnecessary guardedness, right? You need to audit who you listen to now. You need to audit it and be sure that the voices that are instructing you are in the now. They are in the now. They are in the moment, right? You need to be very careful because we are what we eat. Everybody, each one of us, we are what we eat. And so we need to be very selective about who qualifies for the investment of your time and your energy. You need to be very selective about who qualifies for the investment of your time and your energy. So audit what is too much. Then number two, what is too little? What is too little? You need to check what is too little. What are you doing less of? You know, what are you doing less of? What are you doing? Who do you need to empower? What constituency are you paying less attention to? You know, do you need new skills? Do you need to acquire new knowledge? Do you need to hire new skills around you? You know, also I want to say, before going global was a choice. Today, global is a necessity. So look at the Naira. The Naira is getting weaker on a daily basis. It no longer makes sense to continue to earn money in Naira, to continue to earn money in cedis, to continue to earn money in some weak currency. When they say first world country, they mean 5 things. 1, they mean enabling environment. 2, they mean quality of life. 3, they mean equal opportunities, which is what technology brings. 4, they mean power of the currency. 5, they mean access to credit. They mean access to credit. We need to begin to operate globally now. I don't know why anybody is doing business and they won't go and register their business in a first world country, like the United States or in Canada or in Britain. You can do that from where you are. Part of what it means to operate where you are is not just to carry limited liability company everywhere. You can run an LLC from Lagos, okay? And we need to expand our borders. We need to create our business in formats that the world can easily access. Podcasts must go. It doesn't matter what you do. Companies have podcasts. Even your company can have a podcast. You know, you need to put up, you need to structure yourself in a nimble format so that the world can reach you. If you are a church, you need to transcend the limits of tithe and offering and think about partnership programs. A partnership program and how you can position your message to the whole world. You are online, for God's sake. It is suicide to be online and to think geographical. It is suicide to be online and to think and not think territorial. You have to think beyond your geography. Once you are online, you are in the world. You are on the large sea. All the computers in the world are on one spot, and you are there, and you are talking only to your people. You can't do that anymore. You are leaving too much value on the table. You are leaving too much money on the table if you think like that. Too much money. I think I should stop here. It's 1 hour. We need to move to other things. I'm sure Coach has some other things to do. And I also have some other things to do.
Yes.
I don't know if I could talk about this, but I do. My first webinar is available online for sale. My webinars are free, but my replays are not. And so if you want to get the replay, you could go to our site and look for it. But Coach, over to you. Maybe we can take one question or something, but over to you, Coach.
Okay, so you've only given 2, sir. Can you mention the remaining 3? Just mention the remaining 3. Don't explain, just mention.
Where is power?
Where is
power today? Where is power today? I can answer that straight up. Online. That's where power is. Online. Online is the new language. I can also say, where is the anxiety and the fear of the world? Where is the anxiety and the fear of the world today? It's a very important question for you, because you cannot answer the question of markets, without answering those questions. Then for what you do, what are the critical preferences of your consumers? Remember, we have transcended satisfaction. We are now in preference. What are the new preferences you need to pay attention to so that you can adjust your business to that? That's it. I'll give you another 5 questions that are key. Once you've answered these 5 questions, you don't need to answer these other 5. Number 1, where is the money? Where is your money? Where is your money? Number 2, who is holding this money? I mean, the constituency holding this money. Are they young? Are they online? Where are they? Are they old? Can they be upgraded online? Who is holding this money? Where is your money? Who are those holding it? How do you reach them? How do you reach those people? How do you reach them? What do you need to do? How do you reach them? If you reach them, what do you say to them? What is your narrative? What is the ideology you are selling? What is your narrative? What's your story? What's your pitch? What do you say? If you know what to say, how do you say it? How do you say it? Do you need a blog? Do you need ClickFunnels? Do you need a website? Do you need podcast? Do you need a video? What do you need? What do you need? Do you need a webinar? What do you need? How do you say it? Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do you reach him? If you know how to reach him, what do you say to him? If you know what to say, how do you say it? Man, I gotta go. Swallow that. Swallow all of that. Take it in. Okay?
Lord,
thank you.
Lord, this has been awesome, sir. I can't say, yes, even the whatever is going to shut down in less than 1 minute, less than 2 minutes. So I want to say
Great.
Thank you, sir. It is awesome. This is going to be on my page, so if you want to watch it again and again in the next 24 hours, please do. But let me just say that after this, that we'll let you know how you can get access to all the sessions. We have it all ready for you.
Perfect.
Just want to wait for today and tomorrow, which is the last session tomorrow.
Great.
You can get access to all the sessions. PK
Great.
has been explosive as usual. When
Thank
you
you.
are used to listening to PK and being under his teaching, some things you be like, he's going to be explosive. He has been explosive again as usual. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bros.
Please, I would advise that you go to PK's page, and if you missed the webinar, he had a webinar where he explained more in detail some of the things. This was just tip of the iceberg. It was just because he had to do this for me for 1 hour. But if you want to get the full thing, you need to go to PK's page and then send him a DM and ask. His team will get across to you on how you can get it, whether you're in Nigeria, even if you're in China, if you're in Wuhan, you can get it. So anywhere you are, you can get access to it. So I must say again, PK, thank you so much. Tomorrow we are having Shola Adeshaki and we're talking about money. Okay. How to be able to manage and multiply your money in the post-COVID world.
su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai. An ce baka an tabbatar da shi ne. Gudun za a ji a bakace ya da to su zo da su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai. An ce baka an tabbatar da shi ne. Gudun za a ji a bakace ya da to su zo da su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai. An ce baka an tabbatar da shi ne. Gudun za a ji a bakace ya da to su zo da su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai. An ce baka an tabbatar da shi ne. Gudun za a ji a bakace ya da to su zo da su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai. An ce baka an tabbatar da shi ne. Gudun za a ji a bakace ya da to su zo da su mana faɗa su ce me yasa muka baka ka tafi.
Shine tunani na. Inda kaman ba rufe gate ko da zan iya tafiya. Rufe gate ko da
Dole. Ka shiga kawai.